Since the announcement at the beginning of the year, Pokémon X and Pokémon Y have introduced a ton of new features, such as Horde battles, Sky battles, and Mega Evolutions. There's so much that Game Freak will be adding to Gen 6, yet there's also a lot I want to see added or implemented either into this game or into future Pokemon installments. And that's why this list is here. I'll be talking about the top 5 things I want to see happen somewhere down the Poke Road. I just said that. You know, let's just go to the transition. I need to think about my life for a second. This is actually an idea that originated from Pokemon Yellow. Having your Pokemon travel outside of its Pokeball. Way back in Gen 1, this was a fresh new idea. Being able to talk to your Pikachu and looking at its adorable little smile. So much diabetes. Okay, I'm dead. This feature unfortunately did not make a return until Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver. This time around, however, you can travel with anyone. It can be your starter, the Pokemon you were training, or the very creator of the Pokemon universe itself.
Together forever, no matter how long, from now until the end of time.
Neat as this feature was, Black and White did not have this for some reason, and sadly, none of the trailers for X and Y show your Pokemon running alongside you, only under you. Well, it's not like this list is called Top 5 Things I Want to See in only Pokemon X and Y. No, it's future installments. That's exactly why I had to change the title. Interesting little fact about myself that's neither little nor interesting. I'm into competitive battling. I am fully aware that this is not for everyone, and I understand that, so you might get the fact that this particular desire isn't meant for everyone. I say this because one of the main components of competitive battling is being able to figure out how many IVs and EVs you have in a particular stat. An IV is an individual value, which will never change, and an effort value is an EV, and that is able to change depending on who you face out in the wild. The problem is, you won't be able to tell what EVs are in which stat until you've maxed out your EVs, and even then, that's a wild guess. Likewise, you can't check on your IV stats unless you know where all of your EVs are after you maxed out your Pokemon stats, or if you recently caught the Pokemon. But even that requires a complex mathematical formula just to figure it out. There's some guy that'll tell you what your highest IV stat is in some Pokemon games, but I don't want that. I want to be able to tell what my IVs and EVs are without having to guess. Now, from what I can gather with Pokemon X and Y, there's supposed to be a place where not only can you check on your EVs, but you can distribute them as well. So that'll take care of that problem. However, I'd still like to know what my IVs are without having to solve some mathematical equation. Because let's face it, who likes math? Other than me? One reason I think Gen 2 and its remakes are so widely loved is their inclusion of another region other than just where you start out. While Kanto changed from the previous generation, it's still a new, or would it be an old, maybe another region to explore. Long story short, I'd like this to be expanded upon. Could this just be another region that you'll sail to? Maybe. Could it be an area that's only barely connected to the previous area? Perhaps. Is it possible to include all regions at one time? Okay, maybe that's stretching it. Okay, maybe this entire concept is stretching it, but I don't care. I just like to be able to start off in one region and end in another. Use ships, planes, magical pathways, anything. I just like to go from Sinnoh to Unova or something. Wow, this segment was a lot shorter than I thought it would be. So the setting is En's castle. You're about to fight En and his legendary dragon in a duel of truths and ideals. Your whatever colored stone transforms into a different dragon and you're forced to capture it. Now, unlike previous Pokemon installments, you're given a choice here. Send Reshiram/Zekrom to the PC, or switch a Pokemon in your party with them so Zekrom and Reshiram can fight. Quick question, Why is this the only time this happens? Whenever we capture a Pokemon, except for that one single case, if our parties are full, the Pokemon is sent straight to the PC and we don't get a choice in the matter. I get it, that love disc you caught solely for completing your Pokedex isn't gonna cut it. I also understand that you need HM slaves on your team. I mean, if you're going to send your surfing Pokemon to the PC while surfing, well, you can swim, right? We can make rules and exceptions, but otherwise, I'd like to be able to use that Gyarados I caught right away, not just wait until I get to the Pokemon Center. Want to argue that it might be too weak and damaged to battle? Then let me present to you the Heal Ball, a Pokeball designed to completely heal whatever it captures upon capture. What was I drinking when I wrote this? If you could send any of your party Pokemon to the PC as opposed to the Pokemon you just caught, the Heal Ball might actually be given a purpose, and you'll be able to use your favorites and not so favorites right away. A two-hit combo. Please, Game Freak. We know you can do this. We know you can give the Heal Ball a purpose. We can be pals with someone other than Jesus, you know. Just give us the opportunity. Bear with me for just a moment because it's story time. Yay! The other day, someone asked me if I can lend her my copy of Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. I said sure, I'd be in the game, and there was an extra save file in case I wanted to replay my old data. Plus, if I wanted to start over and didn't care for my old data, I could erase that and not have to worry about accidentally deleting any work anyone else put into the game. Now, I wish I could say the same with Pokemon, where any installment in the main series games are restricted to one file per cartridge. That is what I want to see the most in a future Pokemon installment. Multiple save files. Now on the one hand, it does seem a little counterintuitive to the whole marketing scheme of Pokemon. You get multiple copies so that you and your friend can trade, battle, and play together at the same time, and you can't really do that with only one cartridge. On the other hand, they could also create some rules and restrictions when it comes to having multiple files that still encourage the purchase of more games. They could only give you 2 save files, or make sure you can't trade or battle with the other file, or something else. Now I can deal with those, because that way I won't have to worry as much about losing all of my hard-earned data because someone decided to take my game and make their own file. I'm aware that multiple save files were harder on older systems, but that's the thing. We're moving to a 3DS now, and the technology we're using is advancing. We are currently capable of creating games with a ton of stuff in them, but still make enough room for an extra save file or two. There should be little to no reason for a future Pokemon game to not have multiple save files from a technical standpoint. Heck, even from a marketing standpoint this could work, provided we remember to put restrictions on the games. Of course, adding any of these features could be a financial bomb, and I would just look like a marketing idiot, I don't know.